Hello and welcome back to the KBB NR2003 series. Today we're here for race number 2 of Season 5 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So getting things set here, 81 laps, 40 cars. Of course, sorry about that intro. I clicked the wrong button to show the replay screen, but we'll get to your starting lineup right now. Just make it quick here. So on the pole, that's happy hour. On the pole, we have rookie Travis Van Oostendorp. Right beside him is Trey Grooms. Row number 2 is Wolfgang Suarez with Luna Bennington. Row number 3 is Jack Nelson and Andrew Cahill. Row number 4 is Justin Rott and David Garcia. And rounding out your top 10 is Nick Bingham and Andrew Francie. Row number 6, we got Dylan Cutteroof and Branson Grooms. Row number 7, AJ Liddums with Daniel Sells. Row 8, Scout Collins and Evan Nelson. Row 9, Gabe Gazzola and Aaron Woods Jr. Rounding out your top 20 is Baker Mayfield and Jonathan Maynard. 21st is Braden Sisko. 22nd, Brendan Gonzalez. 23rd, Carlos Queiroz. 24th, Donovan David. 25th, Rich Roy. 26th, Julian Lozano. 27th, Justin Murray. 28th, Dylan Thomas. 29th is Wilson Hunt. Rounding out your top 30 is Devin Gardner. Jake Scarborough, 31st. Simon Bingham, 32nd. Fox Oakland, 33rd. Mike Pitt, 34th. Michael Scout, 35th. Mark Sherrill, 36th. Caleb Kerr, 37th. Anthony Foss, 38th. Nick Scaccio, 39th. And rounding out your field today is Matthew Covington in the 75. So as we get things set here, of course, race number 2 here at Las Vegas, our first mile and a half after that restrictor plate race at, I'm not sure why it's not showing. Travis, unless he just hasn't gridded yet. There he is. Just going to skip ahead here to the pace lap. Give it about 13 seconds, and then we should be going here. So out of the 2 weeks we had off because I was busy last week, I did do some testing. I did do some testing at this track and try to get it to where they could be racy, but not be so reckless. And it was kind of hard, but I think we have the best product here tonight. The only little issue we have is they could either wreck big on lap number 2 while they're side by side like this, or they could go 20-30 laps to their first green flag pit stops before they have their first caution. There was really no in between. So we're just going to hope they don't wreck here on the opening lap, because that would just take out half the field and make everything just worse for the rest of the day. Make sure nobody hasn't gridded. Someone didn't grid. That's one of the big problems with having full damage on with NR.
Drivers.
Sometimes all the drivers don't grid. But it looks like everybody's gridding now, so that's good. So it's rookie Travis Van Oostendorp getting his first career pole. Right beside him is your Daytona 500 winner, Trey Grooms, in that 22, looking to go back-to-back to start the season. We haven't seen that done since Season 1 with Jacob Malia in the 78. Making sure one last time everyone's made it to turn 3. So here we go, race number 2, our first mile and a half. It should be a good one here at Las Vegas. This race usually provides some great racing here in the KBB NR 2003 series. So here we go. Pace car is down pit lane. It's going to be Travis Van Oostendorp with Trey Grooms leading us to the green flag here at Las Vegas. Green flag in the air. Travis is going to lead lap 1, but Wolfgang Suarez quickly up to second. Jack Nelson and Trey Grooms side by side back there for third. Grooms is going to clear, though. That's going to leave Jack in fourth. Justin Rott clears for fifth. as now they're just continuing the train right behind this 5. As now the top 3 kind of pulling away from the rest of the field as Jack Nelson just got free. Now here comes Wolfgang Suarez, maybe looking for a move underneath Travis Van Hoostendorp. Couldn't quite get there, so that 5 is going to continue the lead. That's the first side-by-side battle back here as Andrew Cahill's falling back, losing another spot to that 93 of Nick Bingham. David Garcia underneath him now. And now he's going to clear that 45. Big move by AJ Liddums underneath Dylan Cutteruff. As this field's kind of fanning out, just getting single file now for this longer run. So it looks like we did miss that lap 2 big one threshold, so that's good. But now that is 64. Your last week's pole sitter, he's falling back. Here comes Andrew Francie to the inside. Scout Collins now following. That outside lane really not strong tonight. We'll see if anyone's able to use it good on the longer run. It takes about maybe 25, 27 laps before green flag pit stops. As you see, Wolfgang Suarez thought about making a move there. Decides to stay behind that 5. So Travis coming out of turn number 4. He's going to lead the lap number 5, coming to 6. Here comes Suarez to the inside. Couldn't quite generate a big enough run. Now here comes Trey Grooms, maybe making a move. Going to tuck back in. These drivers are probably going to have to wait for the longer run when these tires get a little bit worn to start making passes. Because right now, the short run, they really can't do all that. Because everyone's tires are pretty even right now, but usually on the longer runs, we'll see if they can start making moves. Right now, they're all just kind of trained right now as they come on to lap number 7. As Wolfgang keeps thinking about making a move heading into turns 1, but just can't quite get to the side of that 5 of Travis Van Hoostendorp. But he's hanging right there, right on the back bumper of that 5. Maybe trying to force him up into a mistake, which Travis is running a little bit of a higher line than that 99. And if Wolfgang can get underneath him entering one of these corners, that could send that 5 to the back. And again, Travis Van Hoostendorp goes up the racetrack. That's allowed Wolfgang to get to his back bumper, but couldn't quite get underneath him just yet. But the 5 is definitely hurting his tires a lot more sliding up the racetrack like that. So we'll see if he can hold on this longer run if we make it to that long run before we get our first caution. As everybody right now just kind of single file coming on to lap number 10 here. As you don't really see a side-by-side battle until you get all the way back here. Doesn't even look like anybody's side-by-side through this field. Travis is going to come through 3 and 4. He's going to lead lap number 10 here, the first 10 laps of tonight's event. Suarez 2nd, Grooms 3rd, Nelson 4th, and Rott 5th. Be right back. It looks like the same thing. It looks like that 99 is a lot better in 3 and 4, but Travis gets him in 1 and 2 and just is able to keep that lead. You see Trey Grooms thought about making a move. Couldn't quite get underneath that 99. Top 2 pulls away just a little bit from Trey Grooms and Jack Nelson. Now here comes that 76. Try to make a move there. Couldn't quite do it. Going on to lap number 14 right now, that 5 of Travis Van Oostendorp. He has led them all, just kind of training this field around, as nobody really has swapped positions in a little while. But like I said, we'll see what they do on the longer run once these tires get worn and they start slipping and sliding around this racetrack. So you see everybody just single file right now. You see Nick tried to get underneath Luna Bennington right there, but couldn't quite do it. Had to get out of the gas a little bit. Oh, I think he just blew up right in front of the field. Heartbreak for that 93, and there you see AJ Littums had to get off the gas, and he was stuck behind that 93. As I believe this 93 of Nick Bingham will make it around to pit lane, so we won't have a caution, but tough break for that 93. He was running in the top 10, just making his own, but that's something you also got to watch out for running in a pack like this, especially with how hot it is today. It's going to get hot for these engines. There you see the first engine out for Nick Bingham in that Camaro. But that slowed down half this field. Now looks like the top 6 have pulled away from the rest of everybody else, as Andrew Cahill leads that second pack. As we're about 10 laps away from green flag pit stops. Looks like they're putting tires on that 93, so maybe it was a tire issue instead of the engine. So he's going to get back out there, but he's going to be a few laps down. So far, the rest of this field, not really much happening. As here we go for the lead. Wolfgang finally gets underneath Travis Van Oostendorp, trying to make that pass work, but Travis is going to have the run on the outside. I'm having a few frame drops this race. I hope I don't crash the game doing that, but we'll see. But Wolfgang tried there coming out of turn number 2. He had a good run, just couldn't quite make the pass work. We'll see if that 99 can set up another move before green flag pit stops here in about 8 laps. Right now, Travis has led all 19 coming on the lap 20. Wolfgang all over the back bumper there. Had to get out of the gas. I think he almost thought he was going to run into that 5 car entering the corner. Which we know on this game, contact is just very dangerous. You can't always get away with it. This top 5 kind of bunching back up together. There you see more cars kind of getting tight coming out of the corners on this long run. Here comes Wolfgang Suarez once again trying to pass Travis Van Oostendorp, but Travis might be able to get the run on that outside lane. Wolfgang's going to slide up the racetrack, just can't quite make it around that 5 just yet. That second half of the field not really catching up. They're still about 2.5 seconds back. After the 93 blew his motor, which he did take it to the garage. It was a gearbox problem. So not much happening right now. As here comes Wolfgang with another move, this time entering turns 3. Just, we'll see if he can make it stick. I don't think he will. That 5 keeps getting the run on the outside, so he clears once again. That made Wolfgang get out of the gas a lot. Trey Grooms thought about passing him, but couldn't quite do it. As you see, most of these cars up front here running that kind of the outside lane now on this longer run. but they're all just stuck behind Travis Van Oostendorp right now. I think that 99 might be a little bit faster. He just can't get around that 5. The clean air is really taking effect tonight. Starting on pole, Travis has led all 24, almost 25 laps now. Trey Grooms, he slides up the racetrack. Jack Nelson might be looking underneath him for 3rd. Couldn't quite do it. Jack Nelson right now the highest charger in this race. As AC Wolfgang, he shoves that 5 out of the way. Still can't make the pass work on Travis. He's going to have to tuck back in. But back to Jack Nelson. He's the first charger in this race. They have not found victory lane yet here in this series. Of course, this is their first season and KBB. So we'll see if Jack Nelson can become the first Dodge to win here in this series. Should be coming up to green flag pit stops very soon here. So we'll see who can prevail the best. As Wolfgang is still right there. It looks like, yeah, we're going to have a few this lap. You see the few cars running high, a few cars running low, and here comes the 2 leaders coming in. Same for Luna Bennington, so that's going to leave the lead to Trey Grooms. You see everybody else, a lot of cars coming down pit lane, so pit road's going to be busy. It looks like we have a caution somewhere. It is for Devin Gardner, the rookie who did so well last week, and he's going to be wrecked. So now these drivers have to hurry up on pit lane before they get lapped by your race leader. We'll go back and take a look at the replay in just a second. Trey Grooms is about to lap a lot of these guys. And now it's just going to be a complete mess. So we'll go back and take a look at what happened to Devin Gardner. See why his back end is all smashed up. So he was kind of running in the back. Does 4 also pause the game? Okay, 4 pauses the game. I switched my buttons from number pad 1 to number pad 4. I guess 4 pauses the game. But here we go. Caleb Kerr. Looks like he just gets into the back of that 44. Around Devin Gardner goes. Look at it again. So your first caution out here during green flag pit stops, it involves rookie rookie Devin Kerr. I'm not even going to talk anymore. That's Devin Gardner and Caleb Kerr in the 68. So number pad 4 pauses the game. Number pad 1 brings it to live, so I guess I got to find a new button. But here we go now. Trey Grooms is going to be your race leader. All the way back here. So that caution has just thrown everything off. Because half the field stayed out 1 extra lap, half the other field banked on a caution, and they got it. So now it's just going to be a whole mix of lap cars and lead lap cars, as all these guys are going to have to hope for a quick caution to get back on the lead lap. So we'll see, are we going green this time, or are we going to go another lap? Looks like we're going to go another lap, so we're just going to skip ahead. So here we go. So we got a total of 3 cars a lap down. There you see them on the bottom. I guess 4. The rest of these guys are on the lead lap right now, but your race leader is Trey Grooms. Everybody behind that 22 is on the lead lap. From him all the way back to the guy who wrecked, which was Devin Gardner. whose back end is just completely destroyed. So all these guys in front of this 22 are just hoping we get a quick caution here so they can get back on the lead lap, but it's going to be a bit hard to make their way back through the field. But your Daytona 500 winner, Trey Grooms, looking to go back-to-back early in the season, like we mentioned before last time. A driver went back-to-back to open the season was Season 1 with Jacob Malia in the 78 car, so we'll see. But now he's got just a whole bunch of traffic in front of him, so we'll see if anyone can take advantage. But here we go. Coming back to the green flag. This 22 is your race leader. Green flag back in the air here at Las Vegas. So now these leaders are going to have to just avoid all these other cars who are a lap down. We'll just see what happens. You see, they're all battling right in front of the leaders, which is going to be kind of scary coming off the corner, but they're all fine for right now. Trey Grooms has the race lead. Jack Nelson in second. And that's 64 in third. The other Grooms in fourth. And Daniel Sels in fifth, which I think Quiros is making a move on that 49. Yes, he is. So he comes to the inside. Trying to get into that top 5. But now none of the leaders have clean air, so if anybody makes a move on one another, it could be huge. So you see that 10 is still trying to pass that 49. Gabe Gazzola just got around Justin Durant, and now here comes Dylan Thomas underneath him. So you also got to watch out for these cars who are not a lap down yet, but about to go a lap down. If they wreck, that could cause some big chaos. I thought I saw someone coming out of pit lane earlier. Yeah, it was Rich Roy in the 14. Right now, the only car a lap down, so there's no free passes. Trey Grooms continues to lead. First lap car in front of him is Aaron Woods Jr., then Wilson Hunt. But he's got the rest of the field, Jack Nelson, Dylan Cutruff right behind him. And here comes that 22 underneath Aaron Jones Jr. Not Aaron Jones, Aaron Woods. I keep making that mistake. He's going to get tight up the racetrack. That might allow Jack Nelson to get underneath. He could not. And now that 78 has a run trying to pass Wilson Hunt. Couldn't quite make that pass work as well. Really the only side-by-side battle right now. Right here, this is for, I don't even know what position this is for. Right there, 23rd. Possibly. I don't really see the 98s on the leaderboard. Oh, that's fastest lap. I accidentally switched to fastest lap. That's crazy. So you see they're getting racy right in front of the race leaders. Jake Scarborough and Fox Oakwood. That's a battle for 34th. Of course, they're going to still try to stay on the lead lap here. Almost wall contact for that 77. As they're kind of bunching up right behind the leaders. Jack Nelson gets a good enough run. He couldn't make that move, as you see Wilson Hunt underneath Brandon Gonzalez. That's 78 also following on that inside. So these guys getting tight up the racetrack. Almost contact between the 86 and 87. Jake Scarborough hit the wall. Almost came down into Fox Oakwood. Luckily did not wreck, but that's going to bunch up the field a little bit behind. Trey Grooms goes high. Jack Nelson's going to go underneath them. Here we go, side by side for the race lead. Jack Nelson is going to clear Trey Grooms. Maybe not for long. That's 78. Slow on the inside, but now he's clear. So new race leader, that 19 of Jack Nelson. And now he's going to try to lap Aaron Woods Jr. on the inside. So put that 78 a lap down. Because all these leaders going to follow the Jack Nelson past that 78, but now they're going to get trapped beside that 78. That's going to allow Jack Nelson to pull away. So here comes Branson Grooms making a move on Dylan Cudruff. And Jack Nelson trying to put Brendan Gonzalez a lap down now. That 19 seems to be way faster than all of these lap cars, and here he comes to the inside of Brendan Gonzalez. Going to try to put him a lap down and put a bigger buffer in between him and second place Trey Grooms. There you see Grooms making the move on Woods. Right now, Jack Nelson holds on. Still one more pit stop left in this race. As it's kind of gotten a little bit weird and chaotic with all these lap cars and all these lead lap cars. So right now, Jack Nelson has the lead. Trey Grooms, that 22, is in second. There's a lap car between them. That's Aaron Woods Jr. They're still running side by side in front. That's Travis Van Oostendorp, who hit the wall. Fox Oakwind to his inside, but now Travis hitting the wall. That's going to slow him down. Here comes Jake Scarborough to his inside now. So after dominating the first few, like 27 laps of this race, pitted and then the untimely caution has put this 5 in a terrible situation. You know, up front, you see the inside lane not being able to hold it much anymore, kind of sliding up into the outside lane. So that's what we're going to have to be watching for as these cars get on a little bit of older tires. Baker Mayfield stuck on the outside. The 8 almost just slide up into him. But now everybody kind of keeping it calm. Brendan Gonzalez making a move on Wilson Hunt. Hunt's going to prevail. So here comes Braden Sisko trying to pass David Garcia. This is a battle for 22nd, right in front of the leaders. And it's really the only battle we have on the racetrack right now. If these two were to get together, that could be very, very bad for everyone behind. As we saw last week, I think it was David Garcia and Mike Pitt got together entering turns 3. It was actually Alpha turn 2, and they just kind of stayed together and caused a big one at Daytona. We'll see if that happens to the 45 again, but I think he's going to pass Braden Sisko. Maybe not. He clipped the wall a little bit there. Braden back to the inside. As now they're side by side behind Justin Murray and Jonathan Maynard. Side by side, a few rows deep up front. Of course, this isn't the actual lead. So it looks like Justin Murray's going to lose that position to that 40. It might lose a few more positions, as now Wolfgang Suarez underneath them, and they're all trained behind. But your race leader is still having a good time up front with that lap car in between. Aaron Woods Jr. That's 78. It's back here. We've got a few guys up here we haven't really talked about much. Of course, we got Michael Scout, who's found his way into the top 10. He had an early issue last week at Daytona, finished towards the back. I think he might have finished last in that race, actually. So he's looking for a nice run tonight. Dylan Thomas right in front of him, also up here having a nice run in the top 10. And a few other rookies just in front. That's Carlos Queiroz in the 10. Dylan Sels in the 49. And then last week's pole sitter, Dylan Cudruff, currently running in the podium in 3rd. We got a few rookies up here in the top 10. As I think we're going to have green flag pit stops here soon. So we're coming up to that mark. It's not much really happening. Devin Garner pretty far off the pace with all that back bumper damage. Rich Roy, don't really know what happened to him, but he's a lap down. As these two, Braden Cisco, David Garcia, they're still battling for that 22nd spot. So we'll see who decides to come down pit road first, and we'll see if another caution comes out after it. So we've seen only one mechanical problem so far tonight. It feels like at Daytona we had a few of them. So we'll see what happens again. We'll go back and look at your fast lap. It actually belongs to that 9 of Mike Pitt, who is currently running 11th. Simon Bingham 2nd. Donovan David 3rd. Nick Scaccio 4th. And then AJ Liddams 5th in fastest laps. But now that this race has kind of gone on, I don't think anyone's going to beat that fastest lap of Mike Pitt's, which is a 26.839. And there's actually 4 cars right here inside. Actually, all of the cars inside the top 5 of fastest laps, all right here in a line from Mike Pitt all the way back to Donovan David. So they must have just maybe backed off and then just full sent it for that fastest lap. Of course, fastest lap doesn't give you an extra point. It's just a little thing saying, hey, I got this. Trey Grooms trying to make a move underneath Woods Jr. So maybe he can get in striking distance of Jack Nelson, but he's going to slide up the track almost into the side of that 78. But he did side draft him off the corner, which he got a big run. Oh, there's someone having issues maybe in the front somewhere. Somebody checked up. And that's allowed Trey Grooms to pass Jack Nelson to retake the race lead. I wonder if someone hit the wall, stacked up the whole outside lane, and then the AI kind of went crazy. But Trey Grooms back up to the race lead, and now everybody battling back here. Daniel Sels looking 3 wide underneath Dylan Cutruff as they're having issues. Yep, a few cars into the wall trying to pit. And everybody's stacking. Look at Mike Pitt on that inside lane. He's making a charge for the race lead. From 11th to 1st, Mike Pitt goes. What a move. It looks like some cars had issues entering pit lane, stacked up the field, and Mike Pitt took advantage all the way from 11th to the race lead. That is crazy. We'll probably have green flag pit stops here. Yep, here they come. I hear some scratches back here. That's AJ Liddams. Still no caution, but a lot of cars just getting held up as some drivers try to pit. So I think Trey Grooms stayed out. Once we cycle through pit stops, we'll go back and take a look at Mike Pitt taking the lead there. But now he's pits pretty early here, so we'll see what happens. Trey Grooms stays out. Dylan Cutruff also stays out. Daniel Sels. And these 3 also staying out. So just a mixed bag of cars here. As everybody's down pit lane. We'll see the rest of this field probably coming in this time. Yes, here they come. David Garcia, I think he was one of the first ones to pit. Out and away, and he might gain a few spots here, but he was one of those lap down cars who were racing in front of the race leader. Oh, one car backwards on pit road. That's Gabe Cazola. Not sure what happened to him, but he does have back bumper damage now. Maybe got spun when someone was trying to enter their box. He's going to fall back a lot. Let's see. There's that 22. He was came in out of these cars. And we'll see if we can find that blue and white 9. Don't really see him anywhere, so Trey Grooms might be able to beat him out. Unless there's a new guy. So you see all the way back here, there's that 9 of Mike Pitt. I think he's going to be able to get Trey Grooms coming out pit road, and yes, he does. So if all things cycle correctly, Mike Pitt should have the race lead. That should be the final pit stop, and he's going to have a nice lead over that 22. As we'll see once they cycle past the line this time. We'll go back and try to take a look at everything that happened. It's actually the 75 of Matthew Covington who has the race lead. I'm not sure how he got up here. I'm not really sure if he pitted earlier or not, but Matthew Covington is in the race lead. And he's pulling away right now from Mike Pitt. We'll go back and take a look at what happened with everything that transpired. Tried too quickly here. But here we go. Matthew Covington was all the way back in 17th. Covington was all the way back in 17th. We're going to try to diagnose this as well as we can and as quickly as we can. So Covington was all the way back in 17th. Here's the stack up on the restart. And I think this might have been why he took the race lead, because Mike Pitt, this is the reason, he made contact with the one, which sent him down the racetrack, and that's allowed his AI to just pass everybody as cars were trying to make their way down pit lane. So that's what helped him get up to the race lead. We'll watch that again for that 9. But I think Covington might have come down that time by. So you see the 9 getting forced on the apron. Donovan David, ooh, contact back there with the 16. But I think the 9 might have had to take a little bit of damage repair after that contact with Scout. And then we'll try to go to the 18 of Gabe Gazzola. See what happened to him on pit lane. So when he was leaving his pit box here, and Dylan Cutteruff just turns him. So that was everything that transpired. Sorry, I have to pauses the game. So we'll go back and try to look for your race leader, which is that 75, but he's gotten caught. There he is. Matthew Covington, and there you see Mike Pitt, the other car on the lead lap, in second, that 9. Covington, this is his second season, full-time season, and he has never won here in the KBB NR series. Of course, Mike Pitt, he's got a few wins, but he's looking for that first win for Dodge here in this series. The only problem with that 75 is he really has no Toyota friends around him. There's 2 Chevys in this pack and 3 other Dodges, including Mike Pitt's teammate, which is right in front of him, of Evan Nelson. Everybody should be able to make it to the end. Everybody should be able to make it to the end. It's about 25 to 27 laps. I'm pretty sure they pitted around with 22 laps to go. So I'm pretty sure they can all make it to the end. But here we go. Covington trying to pass Evan Nelson. Nelson is Mike Pitt's teammate, so he might be trying to help that 9 a little bit. As you see, Mike Pitt, he gets around Andrew Francie, so it's just between these two now. As Covington's still trying to make his way past Evan Nelson, but he's going to slide up the racetrack, going to have to get out of the gas. That might help Mike Pitt to maybe close in. Here comes that 9. Mike Pitt goes to the outside now. That's going to allow Brandon Gonzalez to get underneath him. So Evan Nelson's going to clear. Put Covington back into that spot. Covington's going to go high to block Mike Pitt. But Pitt has his own issues with Brandon Gonzalez. Wilson Hunt there as well, as Pitt almost hit the wall. So now Matthew Covington has a bit of a buffer as Mike Pitt drops back on that outside lane. Back here for third, it's still Carlos Queiroz has found his way up into third. Jack Nelson fourth, Trey Grooms fifth, and then his brother Branson Grooms sixth. Kayla Kerr has found his way into the top 10 as well. Mike Pitt was able to get in front of Wilson Hunt. So now it's just a 1-car buffer in between the 75 and 9. But out of turn number 4, Matthew Covington is going to see 10 laps to go this time by. He's going to hit the wall a little bit as Brandon Gonzalez gets underneath him, which would have been bad, but Wilson Hunt got underneath that 9 as well. So that's going to allow Covington to clear unless Hunt sends it in here. Hunt's going to send it in. Couldn't quite get underneath that 75. So Mike Pitt still has trouble with that 86 of Wilson Hunt. But now he's clear, so it's just these two up front. 9 laps to go. If you're wondering, the 87 is on the lead lap, just in front of the guys. Same for the 4. The 86, the first one lap down, but this is 2003 rules, so there's really no lucky dog. Unless I can get better cautions to work, which I couldn't figure out how to do earlier. But we're coming to 8 laps to go. Wilson Hunt looking back underneath Mike Pitt. That's going to help that 75 out just a little bit. But they're side by side in front of him too. Brendan Gonzalez trying to make that move on Evan Nelson. As now both of the leaders stuck on the outside. Andrew Francie to the inside. And that's kind of helping this second pack close in, as well as they are now 2 seconds behind Carlos Queiroz, Jack Nelson, and Branson Grooms. Trey Grooms falling back on that outside lane. So these guys battling is helping that second pack catch, but Mike Pitt might have an opportunity here to pass that 75 if he can get to the inside behind that 34. But it looks like that 34 might be able to get clear of Covington. Maybe not. As Queiroz is about a second and a half back. Matthew Covington trying to work that outside around Andrew Francie. As Evan Nelson's going to get into the wall right in front of the leaders. He's going to make contact with Covington. Into the wall they go. Oh, and Carlos Queiroz gets involved as well. Oh, Donovan David, Caleb Kerr, Trey Grooms. Everybody getting involved late here. Disaster strikes for the race leaders. Donovan David, heavy damage in that 04. Daniel Sels, Trey Grooms, Evan Nelson. Doesn't seem like he's too happy with someone. Caleb Kerr, a lot of front end damage. Carlos Queiroz, who was catching up, makes contact with that 75. He's going to have to pit. But Mike Pitt gets it out unscathed. Go back. Take a look at what happened. You honestly just hate to see it. My game's going to pause here, but we'll just hit play again. So here we go. Evan Nelson and Wilson Hunt, they're side by side. Right in front of the race leader. And I don't know what happens here off the corner, but Evan Nelson, he's going to hit the wall, bounce back into Wilson Hunt, slam the wall again, down into Matthew Covington. And then Covington gets drilled there by the 10. And then more cars pile in. Donovan David, Caleb Kerr, Trey Grooms, Daniel Sels. Luckily, nobody else. Just heavy impacts for that 75. Once again, he took a big hit last week, too, at Daytona. And again, his race is going to end. Big hit right there, and then as these cars come by, his car slides back down the racetrack into Donovan David. Luckily, didn't get drilled by Dylan Thomas there. Forgot which button the slow down button is. It's this one, but we'll see again. Evan Nelson hits the wall, comes down into Wilson Hunt, and then out of control down into your race leader, Matthew Covington. And then Covington spins back down right in front of rookie Carlos Queiroz. Nowhere for that 10 to go. And then everyone was probably fine, but I think the AI was weird with the 10 coming back up the racetrack. So they sent them up into the 75. Big hits there. Trey Grooms, last week's winner, involved. Caleb Kerr, he was having a good run. Same for Daniel Sels. Just a heartbreaking end for all these drivers. But especially that 75 of Matthew Covington. Let's just look at Donovan David. That car is... Oh, well, we'll go back a little bit. That car is in just a million pieces. Heavy damage for that 04. I don't think that's going to end the race. We might have a one-lap shootout, but that 9 is most likely going to win it. Because Carlos Queiroz is in second, and he's got front-end damage now. So we'll see. As it looks like it's going to be a 2-lap shootout. But like I said, Mike Pitt is probably just going to win this race because he's got Evan Nelson, who's got damage. The 10 of Carlos Queiroz, who's got damage in between him. Travis Van Oostendorp, who is a lap down. And Jack Nelson, who is in third. it's going to be a 2-lap shootout. Not really much is going to happen for the race lead. But we'll still see probably battles back here as all these damage cars decide to stay out. I mean, it's 2 laps to go. Why not? Trey Grooms there, you see he's got a lot of front-end damage. Just going to try to get whatever position as he can. Of course, we go by 2011, but we go by 2011 points, but it's full season. So having a DNF in the second race after having a bad finish in the second race after winning last week doesn't really help your case for the championship. But here we go. 2 laps is holding Mike Pitt from the victory here tonight at Las Vegas, and this will be Dodge's first win in the KBB NR series. So here we go. Pace car down pit lane. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps of racing to go here at Las Vegas. There you see that 10 very off pace already with that front end damage. Evan Nelson somehow is moving. And now everybody's going to be stuck behind that 10. Jack Nelson gets around. Dylan Kutteruff gets around. Everybody else, the Grooms brothers on the inside, they're stuck behind that 10. That 16 seems to be a bit off pace too. That's a big move by Travis Van Oostendorp. That's a position right there. But Mike Pitt, he's going to see the white flag this time by. 1 lap to go for that 9. It's been a little while since he's found victory lane. But after just wild circumstances, out front late here. And he's looking to get it done here at Las Vegas. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Of course, like we've mentioned time and time before, this is Dodge's first season in the KBB NR series. And out of turn 3 and 4, it's going to be Mike Pitt winning his first race of the season as we have a caution. And it's going to be Dodge's first win in the KBB NR series. Looks like a caution for Jonathan Maynard as everybody else races back to the line. Heavy damage for that 40. Jack Nelson, 2nd. Dylan Kutteruff, 3rd. Devin Garner somehow came back for a top 10 finish. Good for him. As everybody's past the line. We'll go back and take a look at what happened to that 40 of Jonathan Maynard. But I do want to save the results here before my game just randomly crashes. And we can have the results saved. So there we go. So let's go back and take a look at what happened to that 40 real quick of Jonathan Maynard. Heavy damage to him. So this is a little bit weird. Right in front of him, Luna Bennington. It didn't happen in this corner, but Luna Bennington decides to pit. Maybe having some sort of issue there at the end. But there's actually a little bit of an issue right in front of him. They all just seem to stack up maybe behind a slower car. He tries to make a move underneath. Braden Cisco decides to get into the back of him and then spins underneath David Garcia. Braden Cisco drops back a few spots. Mike Pitt, ultimately your winner here tonight. Let's take a look at your finishing results. So Mike Pitt wins in the first win for Dodge here in this series. Jack Nelson comes home 2nd. Dylan Kutteruff, your first rookie, in 3rd. Dylan Thomas, 4th. And rounding out your top 5 is Justin Rott. Michael Scout, 6th. AJ Littums, 7th. Mark Sherrill, 8th. Simon Bigham, 9th. And David Garner, with his back end all smashed in, he finishes 10th. A good rebound from Gabe Gazzola, who spun on pit lane. He finishes 11th. Branson Grooms 12th. Trey Grooms 13th. They both got stuck behind the 10 there at the end, so they lost a lot of time. Anthony Foss, who started in the back, he finishes 14th. Julian Lozano 15th. Nick Scaccio 16th. David Garcia 17th. Carlos Queiroz, who was having a good run until that incident, he finishes 18th. Andrew Cahill 19th. Rounding out your top 20 is Justin Murray. Scott Collins, 21st. Jake Scarborough, 22nd. Fox Oakland, 23rd. Wolfgang Suarez, 24th. Baker Mayfield, 25th. Brandon Gonzalez, 26th. Wilson Hunt, 27th. Andrew France, 28th. 29th is Daniel Seltz. And rounding out your top 30 is Braden Cisco. There's Jonathan Menard in 31st. We saw him wrecked there on the final lap. Luna Bennington, 32nd. Travis Van Oostendorp, your pole sitter, 33rd. Evan Nelson, 34th. Aaron Woods Jr., 35th. Rich Roy, 36th. Matthew Covington, who started last and was looking to win that race, got into a wreck there, and he's finishes 37th. Donovan David 38th, Caleb Kerr 39th, and rounding out your field with a gearbox problem is Nick Bingham. So I want to thank you all for coming out here and enjoying tonight's event. Next week, next week we will be heading to, let me look at the schedule, Phoenix for some short track action. I hope to see you there.